at the end of the month, and this is we talk about transition and renewal. So tried to blend those things together and see what we come up with. But first I'm going to tell you a joke. And this, if you don't like this, that's fine, you don't have to. But if you like it, great, share it. So there's a guy walking down the street, and he falls into a hole. And it's a pretty big hole. And so he's way down in the bottom of the hole, and he's down there and he's going, "Somebody help me get out of the hole. I'm stuck down here, I can't get out." So he's carrying on like this, and somebody walks by and hears the noise and looks down there. He says, "Oh, thank God somebody's here to help me out." The guy looks down and he says, "You fell in the hole, you figure it out yourself." And he walks on. He's like, "No, not going to help me." So he's down there still pleading for help. "Somebody please help me. I'm stuck down here in the hole." Another person walks by, looks down in the hole, gets out a piece of paper, writes some stuff on the paper, folds it up, and throws it down in the hole. Goes, "Here's some directions on how to get out of the hole." And the person down in the bottom of the hole says, "But I can't read them because it's way too dark down here." Walks off. The guy's still in the hole. Third person comes by. Here's this, "Please, somebody help me. I'm stuck in this hole and I can't get out." And all of a sudden, the person jumps into the hole. And the guy goes, "My God, what are you doing jumping into the hole? I thought you were going to help me get out." The guy says, "Hey, I've fallen in this hole before and I know how to get out." So, haven't we all fallen in the hole one time or another, and somebody's come along to say, "I've been there too, I can help you out." And I kind of like to think that's what the PLC is like. We're all here to help one another and kind of prop ourselves up and get ourselves going. So anyway, looking at this whole idea of transformation and renewal. And so I do this crazy thing because I work at the school. I always like to go to the dictionary first and look and see what the dictionary says. So the dictionary, I looked up trans because sometimes I want to make sure that I understand what the word is so that I don't use it incorrectly, or maybe it's a word that people use in the slang term. Anyway, so trans means like to go across, to go over, or go through. So I thought, okay, well, I'm okay with that. So then I went down. Maybe if I goes down a little bit. Maybe that's better, huh? A little bit? Okay. So then I go down the dictionary a little bit more and I find transform. And transform says to change form or appearance. Okay, so I'm saying, okay, I can get along with that. So if we're going to change the form, that's a pretty common thing that happens. An artist takes a block of wood and carves some beautiful thing out of it. Take a piece of stone, make a nice statue out of it. So one form to another form. So that happens pretty often, so I could get along with that. So then I look at the next word we have, which is renewal. So I look up the prefix re, which says again or back. So I'm going, okay, I get along with that, I get that. So then I look up the word renew. And then the word renew says to make fresh or to reestablish, to revive, resume, or put in a fresh supply. So I'm going, I like that too. So then I look up renewal, and it's just like the process of that. So renewing. So then, as I'm trying to organize all this information that I'm gathering, it dawns on me that there's a point where transformation and renewal cross, where they kind of cross over, they come together. And they come together, and they start blending at the point of to change the condition. Now that was part of the definition for transformation, but it also works for renewal. So in the process, or changing the condition of. Now, these two things coming together are kind of interesting because I've always thought of them as being separate. But I've done talks on how everything gets blended and how our lives are all blended and this happens and that happens and we weave this in and we weave that out. So it just made sense that these two things really go together, although maybe you may, if you think about it, you kind of think, well, renewal is different than transformation, but in a lot of ways they're very similar. But here, we're not so much worried about, well, we are worried about what happens in the physical realm and those things that are around us and how things change. And like now is a great, spring is a great time. Everything's changing. The trees are getting new leaves, so you could say they're in the process of renewal, or you could say they're in the process of transformation because their form in winter is just these sticky skeleton things, and then in the spring they get leaves and they're these nice big green bunches of leaves that you see. You don't see those little twiggy parts anymore. So, okay, could go either way on that. So, what are the things that we have control over, and how can we, like, transform or renew our lives as we go on? It helps to have things like a book called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It helps to have books like The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success from Deepak Chopra. It helps to have books like Ways of the Warrior, or The Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. And Guaranteed Solutions by a person called Swami Natham. I had this down so good. You know those Indian names are always so tricky. Anyway, Nithananda. Try that. That's close, I'm sorry. I know I didn't get it quite right. But, so we read these books, and we pick up energy from them, and we get ideas on how we can, change and live our life better, have a more peaceful life. So, we read them, we take them in, and some of the material is easily adaptable. Some of it's really, I'm going to stick with that. That's just, it fits you like a glove where you don't forget it. There it is. So, all these great authors and all this great information out there for us. And sometimes we're doing something that we don't even know that we're doing. We don't even know that that's the way that somebody or the chain of events. We're just kind of doing it out of instinct. We're not even thinking about it. So just like when we look at the laws of physics, and I see Bob here, so if I get in trouble, Bob will be able to help me out here. So like the law of motion, the law of gravity. Now we never think about the law of gravity, do we? We get up in the morning and we just go about our business and everything's great. But we don't think how gravity is holding us to the planet. Or that the planet is continually spinning. We don't even think of that either. We don't even feel it moving. So there are certain conditions physically that are happening that we don't even think about, that happen all the time. So here we are, we're living life good, and we're reading our books, and everything's great. And then all of a sudden, something rocks our world. And for me, last week, my car had this funny little light that came on the dashboard. And it looked like an engine. And I'm going, oh, darn, that's not good. So what am I going to do? So I have a good friend of mine who has the ability to, he's got this little machine, he can hook it up, and it can at least give me an idea, is there something really wrong with my car, or do I really need to take it in and get it worked on? So, gets his little machine out, and he hooks it up to my car, and he says, well, I'm not sure if this is going to work, because what year is your car? I said, well, it's a 2010. So he's pushing the buttons, and he's about 5 minutes messing around, and he goes, well, he says, I'm sorry, it just isn't going to link up.